2023. First order of business is a call to order. Second order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next order of business is an application for board review. HARB 2023-03, 226 Pembroke Avenue, second floor addition above mudroom. Before we get into the presentation, I would like to give some basic background on this property. According to Radnor Township records, there is no record in Radnor Township records. According to Radnor Historical Society's Historic Resource Survey, there is no record. But Delaware County property records came through here. According to Delaware County property records, they say the house was built in 1928. The building area is 4,717 square feet living. The exterior walls are stone. The style is colonial. Please introduce yourself and share your plans with us.
Hi, I'm Sarah Owens. I work for Warren Claytor Architects. I'm here representing Warren Claytor and the clients, Deb and Andy Brown. As you so pointed out, 226 Pembroke is the address that's listed now, but on the historic map, it's actually listed off Aberdeen. So the driveway was changed, and therefore it's still part of the historic district, but I think the address and the historic map show a slightly different number. So Deb and Andy are looking to add a second floor addition over an existing one-story wood frame structure that is off of the existing historic stone house. Here you can see the survey of this portion of the project. So it is their existing mudroom, and it is a one-story structure with a hip roof over top. And this portion of the house is wood frame with siding. Existing elevations to show the different proportions and the existing roof line. And here we have our proposed plan. Let me zoom in. So we're looking to add an ensuite walk-in closet and full bathroom for this bedroom number 1, which currently does not have a bathroom. It has to use a hall bathroom. We're looking to use windows that are proportional to this area of the house. They would match the existing. This would also be wood framed and would have siding to match the existing.
One quick question. Would any of this be visible from street view?
No.
Okay. And also, too, I saw with your elevations for the addition,
Yeah.
It's well below the roof lines of the
Yes.
principal building.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And the roof line would also match the existing roof line that is on the main house and this addition, which is a hip roof. And here are the elevations. So we're calling this the proposed front elevation, but that it's actually their rear elevation that would face Aberdeen. So I can orient that on the site map if you'd like. But as you pull up from Pembroke, off of their flag driveway, this is what they see, the front elevation approach. And then the rear and the side. And again, like you said, we can go over the photos, but it's not visible from the street. So here we have the photographic legend and then the area context photos showing some of the houses around that area. And I can toggle back and forth to the map should you need it. Critically, photo number 9 and 10 are referencing that view off of Aberdeen. And then the existing house photos with the existing one-story mudroom addition that we would be adding on to. And then this is the existing photos of the rear of the house, but this is actually the side that does face Aberdeen. And the site map as required, there is no new footprint, and we're not adding any impervious coverage. We're staying right within the boundaries of the first floor.
Any further questions or comments from the board?
None for me.
It looks as though there is an addition in the back already. What is?
Yes, there's,
Look like a mudroom. What is?
yeah, in the back, there's an existing sunroom addition that was done by the previous owner before the Browns purchased it. Yeah, and that's just going to be to remain.
And that's going to be on the same side? as the one-
No, that is on, let me just, that is on the other side. So let me go to the site plan here and zoom in. So our mudroom addition is right here, and the addition you're speaking about is right here. That's an existing sunroom addition, again, that existed before the Browns purchased the property. That's going to remain as is.
Basically, it's already had one major
Yes.
remodeling. That's my.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I imagine that the sunroom addition that we're building over was also at some point added on to the original stone structure.
Any further comments or questions from the board? No? Okay. Do I have a motion for a certificate of appropriateness?
I would like to motion for a certificate of appropriateness.
Second.
All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
I also say aye. The motion carries. The board recommends a certificate of appropriateness.
Thank you. I'm going to let your computer guy do his thing. I don't want to mess with his technology.
Ian's a great guy.
I don't want to mess with it.
Okay. New business. I have 2 items that I would like to share with our board. One item I think that I would like to tackle going forward as a board in our ordinance to work off the victory, in a way, that we've had for community notification. That happened recently, and that was, well, as people have told me, quite significant. That went on for a number of years. I know, Terry, you were there through a lot of that. So I'd like to build upon this And we tried to tackle this in the early days of our board when Terry and I were on it, I suppose. But I would like to revisit it. And it is the question of changing the ordinance or getting the ordinance changed, our HARB ordinance, for scattered sites. Some I think of are the Willows, Chanticleer, Banjo Town, Ardrossan, that was based at least on Hope Montgomery Scott with the Philadelphia story and Kate Hepburn, and Clover Lane. I know there are possibly others. I've asked others to let me know other sites in Radnor Township that they would like to see preserved and protected by our board. So I wanted to put it out there, give some thought, and let's see what we can do going forward. Number two.
So, Bob, real quick, these are historical sites that do not fall within the South or North Wayne or Luella historical districts, right? That's what you're.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
I
they do
understand.
not. They are not located in any of those three historic districts that we preserve and protect. But they are located in Radnor Township, and they do have historic significance. But they're not protected by our board. Some of the properties are protected, like, for example, federal protection, federal protection, federal designation. But it always seemed to me that the most important thing that would always trump even federal protection for a property that is historic is local ordinance. So really, if you all might be willing, as we go forward, to look at this. I'll share more further. On Clover Lane in particular. Terry. Terry, your mic.
I felt for a very long while that we're lagging. I mean, we're way behind Lower Merion when it comes to identifying historic and areas, not just streets, because they're, the Clover Lane, of course, is the quintessential example of the progressive style of Teddy Roosevelt, the whole era. And that is one that is rapidly, people are trying to change the most. And it's tragic because we have this pristine little row of bungalow-style architecture, turn of the century. It's now over 100 years old. So that's the kind of thing we have to look at. But we have other buildings that need, I would love to see historic markers, at least on buildings that are identifiable. We have two federal buildings that you can't see from the road. I only know about them because I'm a realtor, and at one time they were for sale, but federal period was a time that Philadelphia was decimated by yellow fever and typhus successively, one 1890s and then another in the 1790s and 1830, but almost nothing was built. Baltimore, Boston flourished while we were on our backs because we lost 10% of our population in the 1790s. Unfortunately, it was the same decade we were capital of the country. But there is so little federal architecture in the suburbs, almost unknown. and we haven't put a hand on it to preserve the two that I can think of, at least. They're brick, they're beautiful, and they should have some kind of protection, markers, identification. I think Greg was probably ahead of the curve when he started identifying properties. But I don't think you'd have met Greg probably because we've had so little since you've been here. But he is our resident expert on the North Wing Historic District. He knows anything you ever wanted to know but forgot to ask about it. But there's more, and there's so much more we could do. So we're running behind, but I really appreciate your proposing that.
Well, thank you, Terry, for sharing. Yeah, with Greg Pritchard, I always took it as a good sign that at least I thought our board was doing what it was, doing very well, where it didn't show up so much. Greg grew up in North Wayne Historic District. He's also a noted scholar on the Price brothers and their buildings and architecture. And he has shared with us before our board. And also, when I was a newbie, he did our board orientation in general, and I always appreciated that. Some of it which I shared with you two newbies. Okay, so something to think about, scattered sites. Let's see what we can do. Give me your ideas. We can share them in this meeting. Okay. I have a second item on new business. I always knew we had maybe 3 hardcore fans of our board. I suspected one might be a cat. We have Rusty, the pupster, as our current board's mascot. I thought of balance most recently, and I further thought of this cat. His name is Jeeves. One tough cat decimated 2 of his master's holiday trees. Jeeves does not live in Radnor Township, nor does his master. However, his master, Lisa, was raised in Radnor Township, Villanova, and is a graduate of Radnor High School. Her dad, who still lives, served as a Radnor commissioner for 11 years, including a term as president in the 1970s, early 1980s. Do I have a motion to appoint Jeeves as the co-mascot of our current Radnor Harb?
Do you have a photo of Jeeves?
Unfortunately, not with me. But I can say
Can you
he's all
describe?
black
Okay.
and he has white gloves.
Saving grace.
I would like to motion to appoint Jeeves co-mascot.
We have a motion to appoint Jeeves as co-mascot.
I don't know if Rusty will approve, but he's not here to ask, so I'm going to have to second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Say
Aye.
aye. I also say aye. The motion carries. Congratulations, Jeeves. And to Lisa, thank you. Okay. Before we adjourn, I would just like to say that the next HARB meeting is scheduled for May 3rd, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. Applications for the May 3rd meeting must be submitted on or before April 18th, 2023. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you next month.
Have this zoning map for